The Subcommittee on Research and Technology will come to order. Without objection, the Chair is authorized to declare a recess of the subcommittee at any time. I'd like to start by recognizing myself for 5 minutes for an opening statement. I would like to thank everyone for being here. I'm really excited about this hearing entitled Robots Made in America, Advancing U.S. Leadership in Manufacturing and Automation. Robotics have catalyzed the American economy for over a century. Articulated robots with joints like human arms have long served as essential components for handling, welding, and assembly in industrial manufacturing. Robotics is critical to industries ranging from automotive manufacturing to space exploration and healthcare. The potential for robots to assist and enhance human capabilities is vast, and a new phase of advancement is underway. For many years, humanoid robots were seen as the stuff of science fiction, but with the rapid development of artificial intelligence, so-called physical AI, the integration of AI into robotic systems, may be the key to unlocking new ways to deploy robotics across the United States. The White House Office of Science and Technology Policy's AI Action Plan notes the importance of this intersection between AI and robotics. Physical AI could unleash a robotics renaissance, and America must remain at the forefront. The United States must act decisively. The Chinese Communist Party has invested billions in its robotics industry and has pursued an aggressive strategy to dominate the global market. As technologies like physical AI advance, it is more important than ever for the United States to adopt a national robotics strategy to support manufacturing, bolster our economy, and assist the American worker. That is why earlier this year, I introduced the National Commission on Robotics Act. This bipartisan legislation would establish a national commission tasked with evaluating the United States' competitiveness in robotics. The commission, comprised of experts from academia, industry, and the public sector, would provide policy recommendations to strengthen American leadership in robotics, helping Congress develop forward-looking policies that keep America competitive in this new era of innovation. A new vision for robotics could help solve labor shortages, increase U.S. productivity in manufacturing, and support logistics. In the future, humanoid robots could serve as caretakers for the elderly or act as supplemental workers that assist humans in performing the most physically demanding tasks in factories, thereby protecting the health of American workers. Academic institutions across our country play a central role in advancing robotics research. The National Science Foundation invests in fundamental research in robotics through its Foundational Research in Robotics program, which supports robotic systems with both computational capability and physical complexity. The National Institute of Standards and Technology is also critical in developing standards for safety and innovation. Together, these efforts support key areas of research and development, including collaborative robots, dexterous manipulation, mobility, and industrial autonomous vehicles. Robotics research and innovation are essential to maintaining America's leadership in technological advancement. Understanding the current state of robotics in the United States will help inform this committee's work as we consider a national robotics strategy. I'd like to thank our witnesses for being here, and I appreciate their willingness to help the subcommittee assess U.S. robotics research and development. Mr. Bernstein, I'd like to start with you. I know that A3 has called for the creation of a central government robotics office. You highlighted that in your testimony, as well as a robotics commission. Thank you for highlighting my bill on the commission, creating a commission on American leadership in robotics, which is certainly one way of solving that problem. Could you talk a little bit about what the value would be of a dedicated federal commission focused on robotics and what the scope of that commission you think should be?
Appreciate the question, and thanks again for sponsoring that bill. I think that if we could coordinate across all agencies of government, that would have tremendous value to helping the robotics industry compete globally. The U.S. has fallen behind by not having that, and as has been pointed out, the Chinese saw the future. When they developed their national strategy, they understood robotics was where this world was heading, and they put in place programs to become the leaders. We can do the same. We need this central organization and this commission to take a look at every part of government that can help and can benefit from a stronger robotics industry in the U.S. So I do think it's essential.
Well, thank you. Obviously, I agree with you, and we're going to keep pushing to try and get that bill across the finish line. Mr. Beard, you in your testimony called for a national robotics strategy. That's something I highlighted in my opening statement as well, so we're in furious agreement on that. It's really frustrating for me that the United States does not currently have a national robotics strategy. China does, Japan does, South Korea does, Germany does, the United States does not. And there's such an obvious linkage between a robotics strategy and our national economy and national security. So if we're all agreeing that we need to put together a strategy, could you talk a little bit about what that strategy should include and what it should prioritize?
Absolutely, and thank you for the bill that you've sponsored. We're strong supporters of that bill and your leadership. We think one of the first things is demonstrating excellence in robotics and manufacturing. And we think the MEP program in particular can be reworked to do that. I think both sides of the aisle are correct. It doesn't serve in its current state, but I really think it has the potential to be the foundation of something that is in high service to all of our manufacturers. And this is, we actually polled a few hundred manufacturers for our testimony. And what we heard is that one of the core problems is learning how to be excellent at machining and powder coating and welding and bending metal and all these different forms of manufacturing, and then how to automate those forms, and what does excellent look like. And as a country, when we're behind, we should all come together and share our knowledge. And I think what the MEP program could be are these amazing centers of excellence where we can learn from each other, we can see what is best in class, and we can get really efficient really quickly. And so that is one recommendation for your future commission to consider. We think that the government should provide incentives to build American robots in the supply chain of American robots, to automate, and to put them to work in American factories. So we've laid out a number of recommendations along those lines. We think that these new centers of excellence, and then there's other ideas that we've shared in the written testimony, to really train this next generation manufacturing workforce. We hear from almost every manufacturer we talk to that it's hard to hire. And even ourselves, we try to hire a machinist, and the only candidate we could find comes from an ITAR facility making parts for nuclear submarines. And we don't even want to hire the person because we know that they need that person.
So can I ask you to elaborate a little bit about that? Because there's been kind of an elephant in the room in this entire discussion about the optimistic case for robotics, which is that they augment American manufacturing. They don't displace workers. They actually create more employment in manufacturing for human workers. And the pessimistic case where, and Dr. Helper, I hope you're an optimist, but I mean, you laid it out, you said the alternative is the worker substitution. We don't want to go there. So, all right, Mr. Beard, are you an optimist or a pessimist in that way?
My favorite analogy in this regard, Milton Friedman visited a job site in the 70s, and it was a canal digging project, and they were digging with shovels. And he said, why aren't you using earth-moving equipment, which they had in the 70s? And the leaders of that country said, well, it's a job site, so we don't want to give them earth-moving equipment or create fewer jobs. And Milton Friedman said, well, why don't you just give them spoons? And his point was, we earn the right to create high-paying jobs by creating something of economic value, by automating, by using robots, which we view as the power tool of the 21st century. It's like the new drill for the American worker to be 5 times as productive, assisting the worker, not replacing the worker. And using these tools, we as a country can earn the right to have really high-paid, really safe manufacturing jobs where the worker's face isn't in the weld smoke. They're standing back and managing 5 robots that are in the weld smoke. And so that's our vision of the future. It's very optimistic.
All right. Well, it's a fascinating discussion. I see my time has expired. But thank you very much for your answers and your testimony. I'd like to now